Good morning. The purpose of this video is for us to be able to figure out how to use linear regression to do Excel. This particular problem is I own a trucking company and I'm looking for fuel consumption. So I have trucks and this is how many gallons of fuel they're using and how many miles they're going. So the first thing that probably would be wise to do is to go ahead and graph this. So if we head over to Insert and I select this data table, we're then going to be able to graph it. And I would graph it, by the way, we're going to charts. Let's go ahead and just do this as an XY scatter graph. All right. So here is our chart of this data. And looking at it, it looks like it's relatively linear. And therefore, we can use linear regression to get a line here, and then we can predict. Because let's say we want to know how many miles we can go on 20 gallons or 40 gallons. To do that, we're going to go here to the data ribbon. So I clicked on data. Notice at the far end of this ribbon, we have a box here. Now mine says solver, but it's the analysis box, and yours may be empty. We need to put our linear regression into this box. And the way we do this is if you go back to File and then do Options. Here on the left-hand side, you will notice it has add-ins. And we want to manage, there's a drop-down menu down here, but we want to manage the Excel add-ins. All right, once you've hit go, this dialog box comes up and you tell it that we want the analysis tool pack. So you want the analysis tool pack. Now we have the opportunity for this data analysis over here. We do have to be careful when you set this up. You're going to want to make sure you give yourself lots of room because this takes about 9 columns and 13 rows or so. Now we're looking at our chart data and we say, well, it looks awful linear. So if we come over here, we're able then to do a regression on it. So we're going to go ahead and do our regression. Now notice the first thing it wants is input our Y range. So Y is miles for me, so I'm going to input my Y range. And all I did was click on this and drag it down. Now it's going to want me to input my X range. So we're going to click on this and drag this down as well. Now, I'm not going to put this on a new worksheet. Instead, I'm going to put it on this worksheet here, and I'm just going to tell it, put it over here in this J cell, over in here. All right, now, what else do we need to do? We then need to tell it that we want a line fit. Okay, so let's go ahead and go. And here is, it all pops out here. So we have all this information. Now, the t-stat p-values, we're actually going to learn about this later on in the class. But right now, what we're going to look at is these two numbers here. And this is my x-intercept. And then this is, it says x variable, but this right here is basically then my slope. All right, so this guy here, I guess I can't do that. This guy here is going to be my slope. All right, so let's go ahead and make him colorful so you guys notice what he looks like. All right, there is my slope. This says it's my intercept. So there is my intercept. All right, so then the result of this, if we would have this linear regression, the result of this is then the fact that y is then going to equal this 22.9 is my slope, or the miles per gallon x plus. Now, let's talk about this intercept, because it gives us an intercept of about 1. So then this is going to be 1.09. Well, let's do 1.1. Let's round that guy up. All right. So this is one way to do linear regression. The other thing I want to point out to you about this, and as I said, we're going to investigate statistics more, is look at this R-squared value. The R-squared value on this one is 0.999, so it's a very high level. The closer it is to 1, the better the fit. If it was an R-squared value of 0.003, and then we might be concerned about it. Basically, that we have almost no correlation at all. All right, so now you have the information on how to do the proper linear regression for your assignment.